Chapter 1. The 23rd Infantry Regiment and Colonel Paul Freeman. There is one cardinal principle which must always be remembered. One must never make a show of false emotions to one's men. The ordinary soldier has a surprisingly good nose for what is true and what is false. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel. He makes a great mistake who supposes that authority is firmer or better established when it is founded by force than that which is welded by affection. Terence, or Publius Terentius Afer. Discipline must be imposed, but loyalty must be earned. Yet the highest form of discipline exists only when there is mutual loyalty, up and down. Major General Aubrey Red Newman. In the summer of 1950, the soldiers of the 23rd Infantry Regiment had no inkling of the destiny that awaited them in the Korean War. The regiment would earn 2 Presidential Unit citations, the U.S. Army's highest award for achievement in combat by a unit. Individual soldiers would receive the full array of decorations that the nation awards its heroes. Unfortunately, many would be posthumous. The war's horrors and glories would forever change the lives of every soldier in the regiment. The 23rd Infantry Regiment. After the Second World War ended in Europe, the 23rd Infantry Regiment returned to the United States and its new station at Camp Swift, Texas, about 40 miles east of Austin. The regiment stayed there until its move to Fort Lewis, Washington, in 1947. The regiment was a part of the 2nd Infantry Division, the U.S. Army's first division to be reorganized after World War II. Nonetheless, the 23rd Regiment wrestled with the same problems that plagued every other infantry regiment in the post-World War II Army. It was under strength and had equipment left over from the war, much of it in need of rehabilitation. It had the normal post-support and menial labor details that caused entire companies frequently to have only a few men left for training. It had the post-war Army's emphasis on unit athletic competition, which reached semi-professional standards. To all appearances, it might have been a typical infantry regiment in June 1950. Nonetheless, its appearance hid some features that made it atypical in many ways. The regiment resided at North Fort Lewis, remote from Fort Lewis proper. There, the troops lived in wooden mobilization-type barracks, avoiding the daily scrutiny of the 2nd Division staff, which inhabited new brick buildings on the main post. In Army slang, the soldiers were away from the flagpole, meaning they could conduct their daily activities with a certain degree of autonomy. This separation built esprit de corps by making it seem to the men that they were different from the rest of the division. North Fort Lewis, for example, had its own officer, non-commissioned officer, or NCO, and enlisted clubs, all of which were noted for their high-quality food and entertainment. The one element that most set the 23rd apart from the average U.S. infantry regiment was that it was part of the 2nd Infantry Division, the only infantry division in the continental United States identified as Con-US, C-O-N-U-S, that functioned as a regular infantry division. Other Con-US outfits were training divisions, used only to train recruits, as the 2nd itself had been until 1948. During World War II, the Army had created special organizations outside the combat elements of the force to give basic military training to recruits. In the shrinking post-war Army, however, units in excess of its tactical requirements were seen as a costly luxury, and using active Army divisions to train recruits was an attractive, if inefficient, solution to the basic training problem. The soldiers in such training divisions provided instruction in close-order drill, individual and crew-served weapons, and other basic soldier skills. Organizations performing training missions did not get to train soldiers to become part of cohesive fighting units ready for war, and it was not a particularly satisfying assignment for the average soldier.